is from Norway. Do you still have family there?
Not much. I got cousins and stuff, that they're still back there, but they're still Norwegians, and they don't believe in a lot of things that I have researched and found to be true. So we don't talk much.
Mhm.
I protect my mind with vengeance.
Yes, I'm glad you do. I do as well. I've had to move away from. I was living on the other side of town of Tucson, in by South Sixth, by city of South Tucson, and I said,
Protect my mind with vengeance.
yes, I'm glad you do. I do as well. And sorry, I had to click here. So thanks for being live on Codebreaker Real Talk. We are live with AAge Nosti, and I have Teresa Sixberry as my co-host. I met Aggie finally at the MUFON conference because I know Brad Olson came by, and I was just really, it was really happy to finally meet you, Aggie. You are psychic, you do meditation, you have self-hypnosis classes. Astral travel is one of my favorite things to do. Last night I ended up in Dominican Republic or something because I was in a hotel where they had blue, and then they had these cute little beds. They had flowers, tropical flowers. There was kids playing basketball outside. I even met a man there that was time traveling with me, and he had been stuck in the pipes. He looked like maybe he was um, maybe in the oil rig or something, and he came to my room, and I'm like, who are you? I went to sleep there, and then I woke up and he was there, and then he went to sleep in the bed, and he started moving things with his hands, and I left, and I told the attendant, I said, there's a man in my room that no that he's in another dimension and he knows how to move things. I'm going to ask him to teach me how to move things with my mind, with my.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I just want to tell you that. And then you're also Universal Success Principles and How Billionaires Think. That is what you do as well. And you do classes on Reboot Your Brain. Um, Also, you have Cosmic Conversations where we explore quantum possibilities in a variety of areas, engaging guests who give us their take on fascinating possibilities in their quantum realms, and each brings their own life experience and outlook to the conversation with our never ending stream of interesting guests and personalities. So, thank you for being on, Age. How long have you said you've been in Tucson for a while now, and you're from Norway. So, thanks for being on my show. I see, I was looking at your show about how to age reverse. And I was impressed to listen to where there you did some research, and there was a man that lived up to 240 years old, and you were talking about certain herbs and things and using the trampoline. So, what have you been doing to? How do you feel about talking about? First of all, I would love to talk about you, super soldiers and giants, and then how to age reverse. Whatever you'd like to talk about is good too. So, thank
Well,
you.
yeah, well, that is a good one. Reversing the aging process is something that most people, you guys probably don't care because you're not old enough, but
I do
and
care.
And I'm
but
older than I look a
uh,
lot.
oh no, maybe that's just high mileage. Yeah, I don't think you're that old.
I'll
But
I'll be
huh?
70. I'll be 70 on my next birthday in September.
Ah, you're just a snot-nosed kid to me compared to me that.
Oh,
uh no, I beat you by a decade.
oh, really?
Yeah, but I I would say to the people listening to this, whatever you feel like you're capable of doing, don't accept it as a limitation to what you can do, because there is absolutely no limitation to what your mind can do if you study and practice and educate yourself, because you can do so much more. You can learn how to create out of seemingly nothing if you understand how to communicate with the universal mind or the quantum field, or God, if you like. So there is something that society and religion and government have not told you. And that is if you find out some of these things, it'll propel you into an area of mind capability that will blow your mind away. And in fact, you mentioned reversing the aging process. I bet there are people sitting on the couch at home, you know, up in age, and they're aching all over and they can't remember where they put their keys. Yeah, there's a remedy for that. I'm doing it. I'm 80. And if you look at aging, science found out how it works. Did you know that 3 doctors got the Nobel Prize for discovering an enzyme that reverses the aging process in 2009, and nobody told you? That should have been the absolute most important medical information this millennia, but nobody talks about it. So why? Well, there is this UN depopulation program, so it can be explained, you know. And when it really comes down to it, with that concept, which is now proven by science, we are nipping at immortality, if it is possible. I did some research and I found some really, really old people. The oldest one I found, well, I found somebody older than that, but I wasn't able to verify it. But the oldest one that I found that the government verify his age, he died from an accident at the age of 256. And then there's a Saudi Arabian woman, 3 or 4 years ago, she died at the age of 152. Government verify her age. And then there were, if you have the Sumerian kings list, if you read that one, Google it, the Sumerian kings list. That is, gosh, the average age of 8 kings came out to 241,000 years. So now this gets ridiculous. But, and I know a lot of people out there, they will not believe it. So the people that talk about that live this long, they don't live like we do. They don't go to McDonald's and don't go to other fast food joints, and they don't drink tap water, and they live off the land. And they have their mind together. They do mind exercises because our mind, remember that mind created universe? Yes, it's real. And I gotta okay this one. Hey, there we go. Now I can see ourselves again. And the science knows what causes aging and death. Even back when they were doing the genome project, they came up with 3 different reasons why we age and get old and die. And they said the first one, that's the shortening of the telomeres. They didn't know that back then, but they told there's a genetic disorder. And then there is a nutritional deficiency. And then the third one's going to upset some people. The third reason for aging and death is religion.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Age, I wanted to show you. I drink this every day. It's Black Lotus, Sheila G, and they're 200 milligram tablets. And can I just read what, because you were talking about, the minerals and stuff.
Yeah.
And this one, it has raw shilajit, 200 milligrams, fulvic acid, 140 milligrams, humic acid, 16 milligrams, and it comes sun-dried and purified of low temperature with spring water. And it's 100% raw shilajit, and it says revitalized, powerful antioxidants and 85 ionic minerals sourced from pristine Altai Mountains above 16,000 feet. What do you think about that?
I have no idea, but it sounds pretty good. I'm
It
not.
tastes nasty though. It's really nasty tasting.
You can swallow the pill, and what it does is if you do this before you eat your food, it helps you to go to the restroom just like black seed oil, and it gives you all the
Yeah.
minerals you need. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a long list of things that I take in the morning, and I take so many herbs and different things. It almost feels like a light lunch, you know. So no, it's. But I mentioned the religion. It don't make sense to a lot of people, especially if you are deeply religious yourself. How can that do it? Well, yeah, it does, because religion tells you that you're gonna get old, you're gonna get sick, and you're gonna be miserable. You're gonna end up in an old folks' home, and you're gonna die. And they believe it. So when they get old and start hurting everywhere, can't remember who their grandson is, they start longing for that place that religion tell them everything is wonderful when you go to heaven. So they start longing for it, and they get drawn towards it, and they get old and they die. There's something to this, that your mind create your reality. My reality is 35 years old. Now, the reason I say that is because that's what I keep up here. About 10 years ago, when I was about 70, yeah, about that, I started to look a little ragged. I had some gray hair, I had crow's feet, and I had wrinkles and stuff. A lot of that has gone away. Well, I still have a little bit of gray up here that I've got to get rid of yet. But you got to remember also, gray hair has nothing to do with aging. Absolutely nothing. It's a function of copper deficiency in the body and an acidic body. Those two will give you gray hair, plus some contributaries like stress and things like that that can accelerate. But the thing is, we create our reality. And that, let me for the next minute and a half talk to the atheists out there. I love those guys because I like to rattle their cage. So yeah, I say we create our reality. Whatever we see around us is created by our mind. When I say our mind, that doesn't mean only our mind. It also means the universal mind as a basis for what we create within. So I'm a hypnotist. If I put you in a soft chair and talk to you for about 10 minutes, maybe 5, and I tell you that when I snap my finger and bring you back out, you're going to see an elephant standing next to you in the room. Okay. I snap my finger and I tell you to wake up, look at that elephant. And they turn around and look and say, I'll be dang. There's the elephant. They can reach out and touch the snout on that elephant, and they can feel the rough skin. They hear him breathing. He doesn't smell very good. They smell that too. There's the elephant. It's absolutely real to those people. But there is a problem. I can't see the elephant because there is no elephant there. But for him, it is absolutely real. He felt the rough skin. He was smelling him. So what happened to your real world around you? It went away, didn't it? Your mind create the physicality of that elephant because you could feel the skin. What happened? It's the same thing with our reality. The elephant is just a small expression of it. The rest of our reality is done the same way, only on a larger scale, because it is not only our reality that is creating everything around us. The universal mind or the quantum existence laid down the base and the mold for us to create within. Now, I want to hear from the atheists out there. I want you to explain the difference between that computer I'm sitting at right here and that elephant. I want them to explain the difference because they can't. This makes us think. So now we gotta, there is this, the three doctors got Nobel Prize for discovering this enzyme. Don't take my word for it. It will stop the aging process or even reverse it. Don't take my word for it. Go to the Nobel Committee's website. Go scroll down to 2009. Scroll down again to medical submissions and read the papers. You're going to love it. It's quite voluminous, but if you can reverse your aging process, it is worth taking a week to read that. So what happens is that when you start stopping or reversing the aging process, the all aging related diseases go away. You have lumbago, you have pain in your knees, you have dementia, heart problems. Those things start going away because the body gets younger and stronger. It replaces the cells that were old. Now, the telomeres get longer because that's what's going on. The major reason for aging and death is the shortening of the telomeres inside every cell of your body. So that every time the cell replicates itself, the telomeres get shorter and shorter and shorter every time until there is nothing left. And then the end of the chromosome starts fraying and the cells are no longer able to replicate themselves. And you get stuck with old cells in the body. No new cells are being replicated. And you get older and more wrinkled and you die. Then there is ways to do this. And, I have no shame. I gotta show you. In this book, Spiritual Science, Higher Conscious Thinking, and How to Access the Universal Consciousness. I explain how to do it. I explain what I do. A lot deeper than what I'm going to tell you in the next 45 seconds. The way to do this, you can go and you can get yourself a pharmaceutical that's called TA-65. TA-65. It's quite expensive. It'll set you back for $500-600 a month for, depends on where you go to get it. But there's another way, and it is cheap. And I'm cheap, so I like that. So, because I use Chinese herbs. I try to do the same thing as Li Xingyuan, which the Chinese man that died at 256. I do what he did. He was a martial art instructor for the Chinese army as long as anybody could remember. He was an herbalist, and he knew he could not ever die. I have done martial arts. I don't do much of it anymore, but I do Tibetan rites. And also I do Chinese herbs, and I do mind exercises. Now, there is a cheaper way to do this, and I'll tell you, there is a lot of medical research that proves this is true. And I got some of it in the book, and there's some in other books. So if you are really going to do this, get in touch with me, and I'll explain the rest of the story. Because there is medical research showing that if you take the herb astragalus in the large doses, it could or would stop the shortening of the telomeres, because it helped the body produce its own telomerase, which is the name of that enzyme. And then there's another herb. It's called jiaogulan herb. And I know you guys don't speak Chinese, so I'm going to have to spell it for you. Jaogulan. That is, jiaogulan herb is called the immortality herb in China. So if you do that, it's going to take about a week, and you're going to start feeling a lot more energy. Now, when I started this about, probably, I don't know, 7 years or so ago, I expected really quick results. It hasn't happened like that for me. It's been a very slow regression. Because 10 years ago, yeah, I looked a little rough. And I don't feel I do that anymore. Not so much. I still have, yeah, okay. I still got a little bit, But I am looking at myself. I am getting rid of it little by little. And when you take the astragalus in the high doses, medical research show that it is equal to or better than the TA-65, which I have researched exhaustively. And I find a lot of people say TA-65 didn't do a thing for me. And a lot of people, well, some people say it works great. And I don't know which one to believe, or maybe I should believe both of them. If they don't take enough of that, then chances are they don't have much happening. And if they double up on what is recommended on the bottle, maybe they get some effects. So I don't know. But I know about the astragalus. I take that in the large doses. And, when it comes to herbs, a teaspoon, that's a large dose. So we can take one of those. That's what I do. Take one in the morning and one in the evening. A good sized teaspoon, that's good enough. And that has pretty much done it for me. So I don't know. There is other things I take too, and that is wild ginseng, gotu kola, goji berries, ling shi, he shou wu, and we need minerals. I take the mineral supplements and the nutritional supplements from Dr. Wallach. It has about 98 different nutritions in it. Uh-oh, clapping already, huh?
I love that stuff. I've been
Yeah,
off it for about 3 years now, and I miss it, and nothing else works but that.
you got to
What
get
is
on
I got
it.
to start buying it again.
Dr.
Yeah,
Wallace
it
herbs?
actually that nutritional supplement, it has everything the body needs to rebuild itself in
Yeah.
it. And you got to remember, your body is a self-correcting machine. If you give it what it needs to have in order to rebuild itself, it will do that.
Yeah. Tangy tangerine.
Yeah,
Oh, is this the one?
I love that stuff, but I like just
that's the one.
the straight liquid minerals. Like there's nothing in the world like that stuff.
Yeah,
I wish I would have had that stuff when I was going through chemo. I might not have had to go through it.
yeah.
Um, I was just gonna ask you, Age, yeah, Teresa had cancer and I did too, and for the past 3 years they removed my buttocks from the left hip to the right because it was myoxid liposarcoma stage 3. I was in the military, so in 1991 they gave me the 5-in-1 shot, which had the anthrax and it also had Agent Orange because my oncologist said, "You're too young to have this Agent Orange or to be in Vietnam." I said, "Sir, you don't know what they put in those shots back in the day." And then they just removed my lower left lung. I'm still healing, but I said no to chemo and no to radiation. They kept telling me to get it. I said no. I finally had to get 2 blood transfusions. And it was 3 surgeries for that, 2 blood transfusions, and then this surgery. And I kept telling Aga, and Teresa knows, I kept telling my body, we got this, even though I was dying, because I got septic too. I had to go get the 2 blood transfusions, and I didn't want to have the blood transfusions because I thought my blood has this, we got this. My mRNA, I kept talking to my mRNA, my DNA, my blood
Yeah.
cells, why, you know, but finally I was fainting and I was not eating because everything I smelled like death, and including me.
Oh,
And so I finally said, I'm gonna do the 2 blood transfusions. And sure enough, I felt revived after 3 days. I ate normal. I keep talking. I have goosebumps everywhere, Augie and Teresa, in the public, because I believe with all my heart that is my mind, my body, my soul, we work together to
Mm.
create life, to create, and I'm gonna cry, but to create life, and we can heal ourselves.
yeah. You
You
know
know,
what, though?
yeah.
Your mind has also created that cancer. Now, let's reverse that coin and let's look on the other side. We got heads and tails here. Which one do you want? The
I always choose tails.
uh, cancer is so simple to cure.
Mhm.
Very simple. I didn't say easy because there's a few things you need to do. Now, let me first tell you a medical history. It's recorded. It's in the medical journals. There was a lady, she had cancer and she got dementia.
Oh,
She
no.
for, she forgot that she had cancer because nobody kept telling her, and the cancer went away.
That is
Yeah,
amazing. That's amazing because I didn't even know that I had the cancer, and I kept working out 3 hours a day, 4 times a week. I
yeah,
rode my bike 33 miles. I was in a lot of pain, but you know what? I was healthy. And it wasn't until they told me that, because I was getting the tumors and I couldn't sit anymore. I really couldn't do the system, the my leg lifts or my squats anymore. And I thought, what is going on? There's these huge balls,
yeah. Back then, did you eat a lot of fast food and things, or?
Oh, no, I went organic. There was a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so well, actually though, again, let me go back to after I got my divorce and everything. It was a few years that I was homeless, so I had to live with a person that I was friends in high school and her husband. Every day she'd feed me, um, fast food every day, 3 times a day. I ended up gaining to 300 pounds.
Wow.
And had me on a CPAP. This was after my divorce. For 9 years, I did not work out. I was depressed. I was always being taken to court by the ex because, oh, you need to pay this or that, and he still owes me child support and alimony. I'm just gonna say that. He took everything from me. But I'm grateful that I moved out of there. I finally got a place of my own. I stopped taking all the medication. They had me on psych medication, fluvoxamine, mirtazapine, clomazepam, Wellbutrin. I can go on and on. And I was getting heart failure. I had red hives coming out of my legs. And finally, I said, I am going to beat this. I'm going to stop taking all the medication. I started walking because I couldn't even get on a bicycle back then. Started walking, taking the simplest thing. I didn't have that much money, back then. So now I'm on government help, which, it helps to have, be able to have lower rent and things like that. But what I'm saying is I started taking like this apple cider vinegar at night and I started walking. And then I turned my life and I said, no more eating fast food, no more soda. Okay, because I was drinking Coke almost every day. The Coca-Cola
Yeah.
has black goo, and so does the Pepsi. And I started eating more organic. I started healing myself. I started going to the gym every day. For the first 3 months, I went 5 times a week for 3 hours. And then later on, when I saw the progress, I did 4 times a week. And then I would ride my bike 32 to 33 miles every Saturday, sometimes Sunday too. And I changed my life. I changed my mind. What had to happen also, I had to get rid of religion.
Yeah.
Like I had to get rid of friends, so-called friends that kept me down. I said no more. And I might be seen to some as this, oh, she's stuck up. No, I am not stuck up. I am taking care of my body. And as soon as I took care of my body and my mind, the right people came. For example, Teresa came. Again,
Yeah.
you're here. Yesterday I had Ariel, Monk Warrior. I met Rebecca Caldwell. I met, Marcel came. A lot of good people have come. People that helped me during the times when I was down. Some of them are still here. Lisa's here. I can mention a list, but going back to this conversation, ultimately, you have to believe in yourself. And
Yeah.
I don't, have you ever, this is what I did. I don't know if it's happened to you or Teresa, but bye, Mom, love you. I love you, my son. Have a great day. Love you. We can live forever. Remember that. Yeah. He is a coach. He's a nutrition coach, professional bodybuilder. My son, you should have seen. He's, oh my gosh, he's amazing. He was also having problems, with the weight. And oh my gosh, he's changed his life. He's moved in with me. We have to heal past hurts. We have to heal our mind ourselves, And so anyway, what I was going to ask you again, Teresa, I'm pretty sure you've heard me talk about this before, is when I realized that my inner child was here all along and telling me, don't abandon me. I did this thing with my mind where I picked her up from my heart. She was a baby. And I said, look, I will never turn away from you. And I
Yeah.
grew her up and got her by my side and held her hand I said, you know what? We're going to go confront all these people that have hurt us in our life. And if they don't want to realize that they have done wrong, you know what? I got you. And so I pick her up again and say, it's going to be okay, and put her in my heart again. And I always said, I will never betray you. And another thing, again, can you please talk about, we're going to talk about the S word. I also went celibate because you have to be careful who you have the sex with, because they also have demons and attachments. What do you think about that?
I couldn't hear that. You went what?
Celibate, because you have to be careful who you have the sex with. They
Yeah.
also have demons and things like that attached to them.
Oh, I think that's a very good idea, actually. Now, what I'm hearing is that you have the whole record of the past very clear in your mind. You probably are thinking about it quite a bit, and that will hold you back. The thing that how we solve problems is through brainstorming with ourselves. We don't want to brainstorm on the problem, because then the problem gets more upfront and it becomes more alive in our life. So we know the problem. We understand it. We have broken it down into different sections so we could start working on it individually by section. We know it's there. Forget it. It doesn't even get brought up in your mind. Now you bury yourself in the problem-solving process. I'm going to give you a couple of details here that should probably take care of the problem. And that is that, first of all, I'm not a doctor. I'm not prescribing anything. I'm not practicing medicine here, but I recite medical reports that is published in the New England Journal of Medicine. Because in 1931, there was a doctor named Otto Warburg. He got the Nobel Prize for discovering that no bacteria or virus can live in a heavy oxygenated environment. In 1931, he got the Nobel Prize for that. He was nominated for the Nobel Prize in 1932, but the German government decided not to participate that year, so he didn't get it. What he was nominated for was that no bacteria, virus, or slime, or any with a pH, low pH in the body can live in a heavy alkaline environment. So if you, right now, I'll almost guarantee you, if you go down to the pharmacy and get yourself a pH test strip, and you test yourself, you're going to be down about 6.5 and maybe 5 pH or below. Are almost guaranteed, otherwise you wouldn't have that cancer. It couldn't live, because 7 is neutral. Now, if you alkalize your body up to 9, that cancer will be, according to what I read in the medical reports, that thing will be gone in 30 days. It cannot live. And also, I'll tell you a little story. My martial art master many decades ago, he told me, if you do this one thing, you'll never be sick in your life. I have pretty much done that. Well, not every day. I miss a few here and there, but I do a lot of it. And never really been sick except for some very well-deserved hangovers in my misspent youth, and I earned every one of them.
Happy birthday, by the way. We are both Piscean. Your birthday was February 28th and mine was 26th. Happy birthday.
Yeah. And he told me, sit down, take 20 deep breaths until you get dizzy. When you're dizzy, that is a telltale sign that your blood get flooded with oxygen. The oxygen get everywhere in your body, including in the brain. And it snuggles up to viruses and bacteria and kills it. And I didn't understand back then why, but Dr. Warburg explained it. Heavy oxygenated blood will be pure. The bacteria and virus cannot live in it. So if you do that a couple of days, a couple of times a day, you're going to start cleaning out the blood. And
Can I ask you again? Lola does, my German Shepherd, she gets like this when she's gonna go outside, right? So one of my coaches at the cancer center, when I don't have cancer anymore, but I did take some classes, free classes that they were offering the people that had gone through this. He told me to lay down and he said, okay, pretend you have a runny nose. Go like this. Pretend you're wiping it until you get dizzy. And you know, just what you said about the 20 deep breaths, you can also do this. And I realize that Lola does the, you know, she's building her aura for protection as well. And she's taught me a lot, and you've taught me a lot. And so 20 deep breaths, or what do you think about that? Pretending you have a runny nose and just it also will help, correct? What do you think?
hey, that guy knew something.
Yeah.
Yeah, sharp guy. Yeah. So, and then to alkalize the body, and I do this every day. I take baking soda.
Yes.
I
Yes.
take it, so I keep well, it varies a little bit, but I try to keep it around 8, which is 1 point above neutral. If you keep it at 8, bacteria can't live in your body.
Neither can parasites.
Parasites, it kills them too a lot.
Yep.
They have a little longer recuperation period, especially because parasites lays eggs.
Right.
Sometimes the eggs can take 30, 60 days to crack open and create a new parasite. So you may have to do it for a period of time. But
Yeah.
the baking soda works excellent for me. I can be around people with colds and stuff, and I never get it. Or, well, you know, other things. I just never
Right.
worry about. I don't accept illness.
Yes,
Yeah.
same here. How much baking soda do you take? Because I brush my teeth with baking soda. How
Good.
much? Half a teaspoon in a water or something, mix it up and drink it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. I use
Is
toothpaste with
that
baking
is that how,
soda in it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a toothpaste that I have that you can either get it at Trader Joe's or it's called Hello with charcoal and it doesn't have fluoride. And what I do is I put a thing of I just scoop my toothbrush in the baking soda, start with that, and then put some of that other
Yeah.
toothpaste in that. Um, Now I did do a 72-hour fast, and that helped so much. Of course, if you're not ready to see, you know, I see the entities around me every day, but when you do a fast, you'll see them even more.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
done fast?
Yeah. I have my housemate here. I mean, 30-day fasts she's done, and that's a tough one. But it resets the body. It resets the metabolic clock and reset everything.
Mm-hmm.
So fast. I do intermittent fasting because I don't really eat anything before about noon, and that's just a little snack. And you know, coffee in the morning, that's a must. Otherwise, you know, life is not worth it. But
I
but
love my organic coffee.
yeah, there you go. Uh, Coffee in the morning and then a little snack at noon. that just could be a little bit of a salad or maybe a small bowl of oatmeal, and then dinner like 6 or 7, and then I go another 12, 16 days without eating anything. So that intermittent fasting works great for me.
Okay, so 12 to 16 days without eating. When you don't eat, do you just drink water? Do you also incorporate coffee? How is that?
Well, I drink water and I take supplements. I take herbal supplements while I am fasting. So that's kind of, I don't know, some would say it's cheating, but I don't care. I'll take it anyway.
Now, I was talking to my son during the 3 days of the fast, and I said, "Son, is it okay to drink or eat lemon?" He said, "Mom, no, because it has calories. So you have to," which I
Uh-oh.
did. Wow. I felt so, yeah, ketosis. And when you're using your own in your body.
Yeah.
Oh, we froze. Okay, I'm gonna go get some water. You guys keep talking. I'll be right back. You
Okay.
guys keep going.
Yeah. But Veronica froze for a little bit too.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. But she's
You're
okay.
you're
Good.
mentioning some Nobel Prize winners that the second time I got cancer was a totally different kind, and it was in a different area of my body, and I refused to believe what the doctor said, and I had like a quick surgery and everything was over, and I didn't
Hmm.
spend much time with it, but I already gotten into the mental transformation aspect, spiritual aspect of my life. Like when I was growing up, I hated the church. I saw what they did to my little friends in school and in grade school. Even I could tell there was something wrong with my friends that went to church. And you mentioned Otto Warburg,
Yeah.
and he was one of the first people that I studied. I studied his facts and findings, which we didn't have the internet back then when I was that young, and you know um
Yeah.
and
That
then
was,
I became a distributor for longevity where I got the minerals, and I got called out of a crowd of about 7,000 people. Dr. Wallach called on me and he said, "Young lady, what is going on with you?" And I told him, and he said, "What's your greatest fear?" And I said, "The cancer will come back, but I'm not trying to create that for myself." And he said, "That's interesting." And he says, "My assistant's going to come and bring you into a special meeting because I'm calling on people that God is showing me that you don't need anybody to hold your hand. You just need the right tools."
yeah.
And so I went in the room and he said, blah blah blah, and he talked about being a pathologist and an expert in
I
why
gotta
people.
you gotta
What?
remember something. Whatever you are worried about,
Yeah,
you create, because the mind,
it
not
gives
just
it attention. Yeah,
yeah, not just the brain, but the mind, it does not know the difference between something you create as a mental image and the real thing. So when you
yeah,
have a mental image, oh man, I hope that cancer doesn't come back. That is created as a globule of thought that has
right.
energy and it creates. So you have to visualize yourself and know you are absolutely healthy. It doesn't exist. That's what I do. And probably
Yeah,
another reason why I don't have anything that I know of.
yeah,
But you have, see, the mind only works in present moments. So visualize yourself perfectly healthy.
Yeah.
Feel it, know it, walk around in it, make it be you, and that'll go away.
Yes. And that's what Dr. Wallach said, because I was fascinated because he talked for 25 minutes on, being a coroner
Yeah.
and all the autopsies that he's done from all different walks of life, all age groups, all types of death,
Yeah.
and all the interesting things that he talked about. And I was like, well, I didn't want to run out and be I didn't want to run out and be a coroner or anything radical like that because I can't stand blood. I'm a wussy when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
And but I did run out of his seminar, and I felt so good.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't taken anything. I hadn't started the formula yet. Nothing. And when I got back from Utah to Lake Havasu, where I lived at the time, I was I was shocked. I had like 16 bottles because people that I met at the seminar, they just bought stuff and they had it sent to my house. And so for a couple of years, I didn't have to spend any money or anything. They're very giving people in that
Yeah.
organization. They really are.
Yeah.
So and that's where I started trying the pH test. I've always bought those pH test strip things. They
Yeah.
they used to make the saliva ones, but I guess they don't make them anymore. I use the one you're supposed to you tear it off of the big roll, you tear it off, and then you urinate on it, and that one's really accurate.
Mm-hmm. I have the impression that the saliva is, it's for, at least for
See,
me, is usually a little more acidic than if you test it in midstream urine.
yeah, so it's
True.
more.
I have a friend, his name is, he goes by Rick Recreational. He's been on the show before, and he sent me uh, he said, I swear by astragalus. He says they have wild organic astragalus on tinctures on Amazon, and that's true. You can also take them that way.
Yeah.
Like now, what I did, there was a friend of mine that after my third surgery, before the fourth one, he said, "You know what? Let's try this. I'll do it with you." And what he did is he bought me some wormwood, clove, and walnut from tinctures from uh what is that health store? Starts with an S, Sprouts. And my goodness, there's a trick to it. You can, so first of all, he said no, or a lady told me no eating meat on a full moon. And then this wormwood, clove, walnut, you take for 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks off, and then another 2 weeks, something like that. Well, I was going to the restroom where I'm like, where is this crapola coming from? Literally huge tree trunks,
Hmm.
And have you ever tried that?
I don't think so. I may have in the past without, I should remember if I did, but I don't remember I did it. I know cloves are phenomenal,
Yeah.
and I have not done much with that.
There's also a lady who sent me a dog dewormer, and it's fenbendazole. So I did that for a month, but I still had to have that surgery for my lower left lung to be removed. And then I'm still in a lot of pain,
Yeah.
but I just kept coughing too much. Ever since I was a child, I have had bronchitis and things like that and pneumonia, but the pain is horrific. Every day it hurts. But I'm glad that I'm now stronger now that all that has passed. Then my mind is stronger, my body's stronger. I feel better. I feel better. It's like a new life, you
Yeah.
know.
So you have the pain all the time?
So I put this on. It's Life Wave,
Oh,
and I have Right now I have the X49 patch on, but I do have the it's this one here called the Aeon Life Wave patch, and then the Ice Wave, where you have the two.
Mm-hmm.
They want to do back surgery because I'm in a lot of pain here. It shoots up my shoulder. It's the back. What happened is they put titanium in me, S1 through L6, and then 3 here, cervical. I have fusion lobotomy. So now what they want to do is they want to scrape one of the T zones. I forget the numbers, but they said they're not going to do fusion or lobotomy. They just have to scrape the bone. So I know I come from Nephilim bloodline because I do grow extra bone. They have already done double shoulder surgery where they have to take the bone out. I've had 7 feet surgeries where they take bone out. I am O negative blood type, and I have high copper and iron in me. So I'm trying to avoid the back surgery. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna keep.
you're not going to need that. But you have a root canal in one of your molars.
Yeah, they did a root canal on this one, and I have to put a crown on it, and then they want to put a post on this one. What happened, Age and Teresa and the public, is when I was 7 years old and I came to Tucson, Arizona, we lived in Nogales, Arizona. They all of a sudden the dentist said, "You have 7 cavities," and I said, "From where?" Because my mother and father, I had to brush my teeth every day, 3 times a week, and floss. They're very, very, very strict on that. And even the dentist told me, "You brush your teeth too much." And I said, "Well, that's the way I was brought up." And they said, well, what they did is they put amalgamate, which has mercury, 7 of them. And so it's extreme pain, and things like that.
Why do you think I knew that you had a root canal? Should
Because I told you about the bones, and then I sent you a picture about my body
no,
in my head. No?
no, I'm not so sure I've even seen that picture, but um, there's a thing that actually seems to work all the time, and that is that if you have a root canal, within about 3 to 4 years, you will have a major illness
Oh no, I did not know that.
because there's a reason.
Mhm.
There's a Dr. Tennant. Dr. Tennant, he wrote a book on that, and he explains it very scientifically based on scientific research that when you take the root out of a tooth, you can't get the whole root. You get most of it, but some little piece of that root is in there, and that is meat. What happens to meat if it lays in the warm for very long? It starts rotting. That rot, the poison in the rot travels into the bloodstream and poisons the body.
Oh
So
no.
you will end up with some form, usually it comes out often in MS and things like that, but also cancers. So there is something there that a lot of people, according to Dr. Tennant, a lot of people, if they pull the tooth, the illness go away.
Okay, so
But I don't think you need to do that. If you do, to flood the blood with oxygen and you alkalize the body all the time, that the bacteria coming from that little piece of inside the tooth, the nerve there, they can't live in the body anyway. So I think try that first because medical research show it works.
okay, I have a question again because for many years, they every time I would go for 5 years for this molar, they kept saying, we need to take it out. We need to take it out. I said, no, I want to have my original teeth when I'm 150 years old, because I told my kids I'm living until very old, you know, I'm going to be very young still. And I just kept refusing them to take it out.
Yeah.
So finally, and I've had the same problem with this other one, and I am very high tolerant of pain. I can go beyond that and still survive. And finally I said, you know, fine, let's do the root canal. And I knew I something told me, I don't know, right? But I
Yep.
did it. So what you're saying now, sir, is instead of getting a crown, I should get it pulled out or just leave it as it is? Okay, what do you think?
Well, I would say if you leave it as it is and you keep your body at 8 pH and keep flooding the blood with oxygen, there's a good likelihood that you may be okay.
Do you think I still need to put a crown on there though? Because you know how they go. They like to always charge people things that you don't need.
Yeah, I'm not a dentist and I'm not a doctor, so I really don't know the issues involved with that. So I probably shouldn't say, but I think you can probably go within and find the answer just as easy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I always do that. It's just I really like speaking to you and I like to pick your brain. You have so much
Yeah,
information. Now, can you talk a little bit about super soldiers? I think we are the guinea pigs, you know. So for the what they want a new earth. Um they want to take us in a molecular way. They want to the whole thing with the what I call the baby Jabberwocky with the whole pandemic that happened. I was talking to Ariel yesterday, and she was talking about the Epstein files, how the med beds are pretty much bad because, and I'm not going to say all of them, I'm just going to say what Jillian was doing with a certain AI. They were making it watch terrible movies. They're called snuff movies, and how to torture kids and things like that. And they've encoded that into the med beds. So I don't think I need a med bed. Not if they're going to be using that. Also, what they want with these med beds is, you know, that there is a technology to take out the human soul and to transfer it to a computer. When the whole Wuhan thing happened, when people were falling on the floor and things like that, I saw in my mind that they were taking the soul out and they were probably uploading it to the cloud or something. But I did say that. I said they're taking the people's soul. They're showing the world what they can do, these cabal,
yeah,
you know? So this whole thing with the medbed now, it just seems like they're, and even she even said, and there is studies online you can look, where people are giving the B word, you know, the baby Jabberwocky or other things, for example, different medication that actually separates your mind from your soul, to keep you, because we are mind fractured as super soldiers, as kids, things like that, to keep them all separate so that way we don't remember who we truly are and work as one against the whole system right now with the wars and the cabal and all that. So with the med beds now, now what I could see yesterday was, oh my gosh, that's what they're gonna do now. Just put somebody on a med bed and slowly take their, you know, either take it out instantaneously, like they're doing
yeah.
with.
You gotta remember, the soul is entirely non-physical. It is entirely spiritual. To manipulate the soul with physical instrument is pretty difficult. So when they talk about controlling the soul, nah, it's not going to work.
That's what I thought, because I've been talking to another man from Finland. He has a show in Spanish, and he says, all these things that they're trying to do to take our souls, they can't take our souls.
Yeah. No, I don't buy that. And the thing about it is that well, let me see if I can remember. There was I was a doctor in Harvard's Hill, Massachusetts, I think it was. And he tried to prove the existence of the soul. And he measured, well, he found 6 people that was close to death. And he put them in the bed, hospital bed, on industrial scales. So they weighed the body, they weighed everything that he ate and he drank, and they weighed everything that came out of the bed in form of urine and so on. So they kept track of how much he weighed all the time. And then this was in 1907. And at the moment or slightly after the time they quit breathing and died, the bed with everything in it became 21 gram lighter for every one of them. Some of them were 23 or 24 grams. That's about 3/4 of an ounce. It suddenly got lighter. And he said, aha, I proved the soul left. So the body got lighter. Now, the thing about that is that the soul is entirely spiritual, has no weight at all. But the astral vehicle has an affinity to mass. An astral traveler will tell you that if he actually is doing it, that if you're in a room in your astral vehicle away from the physical body and you hang still, you slowly, very slowly, will descend towards the floor.
Oh yeah. Okay. Now when I was a police officer and I had to go, they used to call me Dr. Death because the first 3 months, brand new off of FTO, off of training, every call was a death call. And I could see there's a word that I don't know why I'm not, hello, what is the word? When the blood is more on their feet.
Mhm.
And then their body, some of them, we called them poppers because if you could touch them, they would pop. They would be there for days and days.
Yeah.
I forget the word, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, in fact, people can verify this if you. It's in 1911, I think it was New York Times. They wrote an article on it. If you go to New York Times and put the doctor's name in there, you probably find it. Dr. Duncan McDougall.
Yes, here it
You
is.
can research him and you can find the whole article. It was very involved, but the soul cannot be manipulated by physical instruments or physical processes. So people that say you can control the soul, no, I don't buy it. I don't buy that at all.
Now, I have another question because I have been thinking about this for years. When we leave our body, there's a darn theory that you go to heaven or hell, which I don't believe in that because I have had a near-death experience. What I've seen is not what they taught me. I know we still have to fight for our soul because there are some tricksters out there. And then if you read the Tibetan Book of the Dead, which Rebecca reminded me yesterday, there's a part in there where they want you to go to the red light, which is like the fake womb for reincarnation. And then they also want you to go to the white light. So I always say, for me, based on my experience, I don't go to the white, I don't want to go to the white light because then you're reincarnated again. I mean, that's what happened when I saw what I saw. And I went to the light and here I am. I'm glad I'm here still. You know, we wouldn't have the show, but what do you think about that? Don't we still have to fight even after we leave this earth?
Well, I have a friend that I visit with ever so often, a non-physical friend. And he tells me you will always have a choice. If you want to go back, because when you drop the body, the first thing that's going to happen to most people is that they're going to be really surprised.
Yes.
They're going to look back at themselves and says, I'll be dipped in chocolate. Here I am laying in the bed, but I'm here. How can that be? Oh, well, yeah, I'm dead. Now what do I do? But there's another saying that is that nobody dies alone. But it does happen. But usually somebody there will say, be doggone, you graduated, let's go home. There's somebody usually there.
But then again, that could be a trick to take you
Yeah,
to
that's the thing. But you're going to end up going with them. You're going to end up where they are.
Oh, I don't want to go where they are.
Yeah, that's the thing. We need to go back to the source of all things, which is eternal bliss. And if we don't know what that is, that could be tricky because you will find yourself around with spiritual light beings. They call themselves the guardians of the soul. And they say, well, let's see how you did. And they run your life. It'll take about 3 to 5 seconds and you get to relive everything that you did.
But I don't believe we need to do that. We already know what we do here, and we're trying to relieve the karmic wheel. That's why, you know, we
Yeah.
pay for everything here on Earth. We don't need that life review. That's BS.
Yeah, we may not need it, but there are things we did that we did not understand. When we walk through it, we will understand the feelings of the other person when we did something bad to them or when we did something good to them. We will have their feelings, so we'll understand. So the life review is okay, what I'm concerned. But the suggestion that come afterwards is that you should go back and work on the things that you didn't work out the first time. That's when you could say, sorry, I don't need to do that.
I'll take a tax.
I'm going back to the source of all things.
Yeah. Now, real quick, again, I'm a sensitive, like I'm sure you are. I was born sensitive. So when I do something bad or I did something bad to someone or something good, I feel it.
Yeah.
So I don't need that life review. When I was younger and I did something really bad to people, I would say, "Oh my gosh, what did I do?" Years later, I'm so sorry. Like I would go in my mind and say, "I'm so sorry if I couldn't talk to the person or write a letter." You know, we have to right the wrong. And my grandfather in Spanish, he would always say, "Todo se paga en esta vida." We pay for everything in this life.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. But this is a process that most people will go through. They're going through the tunnel, or they will have somebody that is there with them and they bring them, and then they just find themselves in different scenic operations, and they find themselves with those light beings. I remember it because I went back through hypnosis and I just dug out what happened to me this last time, and that brought me here. And I was standing around with about, I think, 3 or 4 different light beings, and there was a table, a round table around us, and the top of the table was fluid. In there, I saw pictures. I was presented with about, I think there was about 3 different life situations, and I had to choose one. And one of them appealed to me, more interesting. So I chose that one. And the last I remember saying to myself was, okay, I better get down there and get going. Let's do it. I just wanted out of there, and because I agreed to a mission, and the mission sounded good, so I went and did it. And a lot of people will have that, but you could perfectly well say, if it is something that you would really gain from or enjoy, yeah, you might want to do it, because you'll back there in about 20 minutes anyway. But lifetimes are condensed so much, there's hardly any time in the spiritual reality for it. And you could also say, I'm going to go back to the source now. Then your consciousness and soul essence will join the collective consciousness and the soul, the oversoul, or whatever you would call it. And in there is only one, and that is bliss. Knowledge of all there is in this universe and other universes.
Yes.
And all the timelines that you may be in within this universe and possibly other universe. All of that is revealed. So the people that say, when I die, I'll have all the answers. No, you won't. Just because you're dead, it doesn't make you smart. That's what you ask any ghost. There's ways you can talk to ghosts, and it works 100% of the time. So ask them, do you have all the answers? They'll tell you no. In fact, in 1901, Nikola Tesla created a radio, and he was interviewed one time, and he said, I had the radio on the table. I was alone in my laboratory at night, and I could hear people talking back and forth in a language I did not understand, and it terrified me, because he was listening to things outside of the physical existence. This is called, for you guys want to try this out, go and test the Tesla Spirit Radio. If you know a little bit about electronics and soldering, you can put that thing together for about $25 and you can have a great time with it. You can fire it up. Actually, there's no way you can plug it in or anything. It's just by itself, but you can hear voices through it. And it works every time. Just about every time you will hear somebody, because we are never alone. There's always spiritual entities around. I did a show about 3 weeks ago now with a guy in Phoenix. He created an electronic contraption, kind of like a radionic computer, running through his regular laptop with some additional equipment, and he talks to spirit. In fact, he invites people over to the house, and they can ask different family members that are dead, and they show up and they talk with them. They have knowledge that only that dead person would know, and they bring it forward, so they know it's the right person. If you go back 3 weeks on our website, broadcastteamalpha.com, or YouTube, or any other of the 44 different platforms we are on, just go and YouTube it, go find there's about speaking with dead folks, I think was titled for it. And he is perfectly open to people coming over to his house and talking to his dead friends.
Right.
It works.
Yeah, and then it's also well, a lot of us that are telepathic, I mean, I help a lot of people cross over when they're ready to go, and they talk to me here or in my dreams.
Yeah.
They come to me It's called Spirit Box, I think that's what you're talking about. And then a lot of for example, the databases like the AI called Replica, they have a lot of our super soldier experiences there. The CIA has, the quantum computer as well. So you said speaking with dead people, and what is your show again?
Say that again?
What is your name of your YouTube show again?
Uh, oh God, I'm drawing a blank on this. Well, you go to Broadcast Team Alpha on YouTube and just go down about 3 weeks because that's where he is. There was about, okay, you're sharing screen, so you could probably find it. But Broadcast Team Alpha will do it also. .com or YouTube is better because you see them all at once. Broadcast Team Alpha. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, that
Broad.
is Broadcast Team Alpha.
Oh, oops. Alpha. There it is.
Yeah. There you go.
I don't know. It says doesn't support secure connection, but there it is.
Oh
So this
yeah.
is your,
Yeah, now you
this is,
gotta go to videos probably. Oh yeah. If you scroll down, you will find it. Oh,
crap. Well, guys, sorry, it's going into ads, but look up Broadcast Team Alpha with AAge, AAGE Nosti, and you will find the video. And then you can, what I'm thinking is you can also just send me your link after the show, and
yeah.
I plug it into the notes here. But I find this very fascinating, and I experience what they call bliss. I I told myself out loud, so this is what bliss is. And it was after my awakening,
Well, you froze. Yeah,
Yeah, you froze and I can't hear you or see you. I see your name.
yeah. Nope. No, she's still frozen. Well, it is cold out in space.
Yep. Pretty cold outside too, for as nice as it looks out there.
Yeah.
Well, it's
All
okay.
right.
It'll be hot as heck here pretty soon. So,
Yeah. What I was saying, go to YouTube and get Broadcast Team Alpha, and you scroll down about 3 weeks or so, and watch that show on talking to dead folks, and it'll blow you away because the souls that is coming through talking are so clear.
oh
You
yeah.
you will absolutely hear the voices and everything is good. So there is much evidence to the fact that yes, there is life after life.
I was surfing YouTube one day, and I came across this guy, and he created one of those spirit boxes,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and it's called the Hope Box. It only works. It only works with the intent of your heart and on
Uh-oh.
a family member. Where did she go? Let's wait
Yeah.
a minute. Let me text her and see if she
She
can.
for you are the co-host and we are continuing, so she'll
Yeah.
be back on. There she is.
All right.
Yeah. But
Anyway, it was called the Hope Box. And my friend had just died like 6 months before I saw this podcast on YouTube. And welcome back, Miss Veronica. I thought they fixed your wires.
yeah.
And
Yeah, we fell off the recording also.
On the YouTube.
That is so crazy.
But we fell off of YouTube.
Yeah, we're back on.
You're putting it back on?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay, cool.
Well, we're about out of time too.
Yeah.
It's funny.
But my friend and I, we had a specific way that we greeted each other. That nobody could sound like her, and nobody could sound like me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. At the time, I didn't want to mess with it, but I really wanted to hear her voice. I deeply loved that girl, and she came across like she was running across the yard, and she goes, "Hola diva," like that. Nobody can sound like her. She was Filipino, and she had a certain frequency when she spoke. You knew she was talking to you.
Yeah.
And that's all I needed. I I started crying. I was like, "I love you, Dave," and that was it. I didn't have to mess with the machine anymore.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I'll just tell you real quick what happened again, then I'll let you go, and we can do another show, or I can be on yours, whatever. When I had my near-death experience, I'll just say I was involved in a shooting. I'm not going to go into it. But I felt very, very hot from the top of the head of my head all the way to the bottom of my soles and my feet. And I woke up and I saw 20 doctors around me. They put a black velvet thing over my mouth because they had to put a plastic thing because my left lung had collapsed and there was water and everything and blood in there. So I screamed very loud. And my mom later on says she left the hospital because she couldn't take it. They had me in the underneath the basement at UMC. And this was in Halloween 2010. So it was like maybe 6 in the morning on the 1st of November, which is Day of the Dead. Okay. The incident happened on Halloween. So anyway, later on, I wake up and I'm in my nightgown of the hospital and I say, what the heck am I doing in the hospital? I walk around and there are these dead half bodies that they look like the Hindu charcoal blue and charcoal beings. They were like this on my monitor, on the floor of the hospital, and they were cut in half and they had yellow eyes, black jagged haircut, just staring at me. And I walked over them because I didn't want them to grab me. I said, what happened? Why are they cut in half? Why am I here? So I went and I wanted to see why I'm in the hospital. I saw a white light around the door. And I said, well, I need to see a doctor or a nurse to tell me why I'm here. So I opened the door. After I opened the door, I'm back still wearing the same hospital gown. The beings are gone, but my dad's in the corner. On the left side of the corner of my, right next to the bathroom in my room. He took his life when I was 13 and I ran to him and I said, Papi, no me quiero ir. I don't want to come back to Earth, please. I want to stay with you. I don't want to come back. I don't want to go back. And he hugged me and he said, no, you have to go back and you have your kids that love you. You have to go back. You're not done. I said, no, no, no. I kept crying and holding on to him. And next thing I knew, deep breath and boom, I'm back in my body. I'm tearing everything away from me. I had things in my nose. I had everything, I was wrapped in something to keep me down. And I said, so my mom said I was gone for 3 days. They were going to pull the plug. She had called everybody to go see me, but that's why I say, there's more to this, to the past.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now later on, I found out who the Hindu ones were, and I have a book which shows the blue Hindu gods, wannabe gods, with the scientists, and they have a man in a gurney, and these beings in the picture are trying to take the man's spirit. I'll probably put it on the thumbnail, that way you guys can see. But later on, I feel that maybe it was me that cut them with a sword or something to them for them not to take me. And years later, in 2017, I was praying. I said, if there's a real God, not the God that they talk about the Bible, not the fake gods here or there, if there is a true being that loves me, tell me now, because I'm going to self-delete myself if there isn't again,
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a shooting star that came in, boom, hit the ground. And then a light came out of my chest and I fell to my knees. And I went outside with my friends and I said, did you guys hear that? And she said, Veronica, are you trying to open up portals? And back then I didn't know what the heck the portal was. And I said, no. And we went outside and the neighbors came out and said, did you guys see that? Did you hear that? They saw the shooting star. They heard the noise, but nothing was there. So years later, that's me coming to save myself, to save my soul. That is the love, I think, of my real self.
Yep.
What do you think about all that, Age? That's crazy, right?
Well, things happen to people, and very often in concept it's the same thing, but many of the details are so different. It happens in very many different ways. So I am perfectly on board with what happened to you. It was created in such a way that you would understand it, I am supposed, I would think.
Mhm.
And you may not have understood it right away, but they know enough about the future and knew that you would understand it.
I feel that day, I feel in my head, I see that I spoke to them some way, how, and said, look, I
Yeah,
want to leave Earth. You're not letting me. Okay, I still have my children. Okay, fine. I'm going to come back for them. And I'm going to do my best with my children,
yeah,
because my mission is my children first. And then I'm going to talk to the public and help them to wake up and say, hey, it's a lie about the heaven or hell thing. It's a
yeah.
lie about salvation. It's
And
even,
you're doing it.
and I'm doing it. And I'm grateful to have you on. And I am very grateful to be here. I love my children. Back when that whole incident happened,
Yeah,
I was not in the same had been broken down and things like that. And now, I don't let anybody break me. I can't. We're learning that we're very powerful beings, and we have the power to help humanity, and here we are. So thank you, Age, for being here.
you're so welcome. This was fun. And yeah, I gotta run because I have a mastermind session coming up shortly here. So I gotta.
Okay, I'll send you a message to see how I can join that and how much the cost is or whatever. Can you just tell people how to find you, your website, or I can put it on here too?
Yeah, it is the mastermind connection at gmail.com. The mastermind connection at gmail.com. Send me an email and I'll send you information and a link to join us on Sunday.
Sounds great. Thank you all. Thank you, Age. Thank you, Teresa. And Teresa's
Yeah, both
All
of you.
right.
I want to see both of you there because it will be an eye opener.
Yes,
Okay.
I'll
Yeah,
be there. Thank you, sir. Thank you, brother. Thank you,
yeah,
Teresa. Teresa's on Facebook. We'll see you. And I'm everywhere. Just Google my name and you'll find me. Love you guys. Bye.
yeah,
Bye.
absolutely. And in the words of Spock, live long and prosper.
Long and prosper.
I didn't do it right. My thing is broken. That's how you get.
Yeah,
That's how you get till I totally
there, there you go.
Bye, guys. Love you all.
All right.
Bye.
See you later.